What do you think about this? Very bad optics. Your president videotaped dancing the tango in Argentina just days after 34 innocent people were slaughtered and hundreds more injured in the Brussels terror attack. Outrage from critics coming very quickly.
Where is President Obama? Baseball game while Brussels burns, and now he's on the dance floor doing the tango in Argentina.
I'm not so sure he should be doing that when everybody else is worried about where ISIS is, who they're going to kill next, and are they going to come over here.
Mr. President, come home. Cut your trip short to Argentina and return to the White House.
I would have cut short the trip and would have come home and would have made a big deal out of it.
Leader of the free world appears to be uninterested.
The advance person who let him do the tango, that person ought to be looking for work on somebody's campaign very, very far away. That was a tremendous mistake.
Pennsylvania Congressman Scott Perry goes on the record. Good evening, sir. And the president, if he were here, would say that we don't want to send a message to the terrorists that they can disrupt us and that we should go about our lives. What do you think about the president staying in Argentina, staying overseas rather on his trip, going to the baseball game in Havana, and getting caught on tape doing this tango last night at the dinner?
Well, good evening, Greta. I would say this instance, if it were the only instance, you know, critical to conduct state business. You never know when something's going to happen around the big globe, and to stop everything every single time, I think is unrealistic. But unfortunately, there has been a pattern when these attacks happen, when somebody's been killed on tape or something like that, and Americans in peril or our allies in peril, the president often to else, whether it's just releasing a 30-second statement and going and playing golf or what have you. And so I think the bigger issue here for many Americans and many people in the free world is that the leader of the free world, while he says that this is a priority, defeating ISIS and this radicalism and terrorism is the priority, it seems that too often just saying it's the priority.
Why do you think that he did this? I mean, he had to know the cameras were running.
Yeah. I got to tell you, agenda than most of us as Americans, and certainly former presidents do, regarding the international situation that the United States finds itself. In my opinion, and I think the opinion of many, he has spent the last 7 years dismantling 60 to 100 years of work and relationships around the globe, and that's not by happenstance. I just think he finds it relatively unimportant, quite honestly.
Do you think that maybe he's just, he's a continent away and just doesn't have a thought of how it's playing back here in the United States, and how a lot of people are reeling from the fact of what went on in Belgium, because we're watching the video every single day of people who were injured in this Belgium explosions?
I don't know. I think he probably gets how people feel in the United States. Certainly, he was aware during San Bernardino, traveled there after the fact, and has heard the criticisms. But here again, he called ISIS the JV team, and them time again. We've had calls, Greta, not only in the United States but around the world, and the president really. I mean, if you ask any American what is to defeat this scourge, to make sure it doesn't come to our shores and embed itself in our communities or around the world, I think it would be hard-pressed to find one single American that can do it. And I think there's a reason for that, because the president hasn't articulated it, because there really isn't one.
And I should note, because viewers I'm sure have noticed, we have a little audio problem with you, sir, and it's not on your end, it's our audio issue with your mic. All right, what should the president be doing about Belgium, if anything?
Well, certainly, look, saying that about that. You can't bring people to justice that blow themselves up, so it's not really appropriate, right? The condemnation, it's meaningful, but only if you do something. So certainly supporting our allies in law enforcement and in military action when necessary is key. But then in the homeland and around the world belie when he says it's a priority. Bringing in unvetted Syrian refugees, unvetted, Syrian refugees, most people see that as incongruent with saying that terrorist extremism is your top priority, not even naming Islamist extremism. There are many free, peace-loving Muslims in America and around the world, but there are also ones that want to kill Americans and Westerners, and they keep doing it. Not addressing it is the problem.
Congressman, thank you, sir. And sorry about that audio problem. Thank you, sir.